between January through May. But either way, like, whatever the event is, we're going to be reeling with it for all of 2025.
I think it's just going to be like event after event after event after event.
I don't know, maybe it'll be so much that we're not going to know what the event is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, is so much going to happen that we don't even know, like, what this was the event. Are we going to know?
Right, I don't know. You're right about that. Like, who knows what it will feel like? All I know is I'm deeply interested which we won't ever figure out, I don't think, if there was ever a time in history that all outer planets changed in the same year. I don't know. But it just would be fascinating to me to, like, know that, because I'm like, how this is a very, like, rare, it has to be, like, a super rare instance.
Right.
I mean, you've got Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and the nodes changing all in the same year.
Yeah, I wonder if... I'll have to see. I mean, I know, it's been a while since, like, certain planets are in certain signs. Like, Neptune hasn't been in Aries since the 1800s.
Right.
If anything happened and all these things changed, I guarantee you it was in the 1800s, around the mud flood, around the Blavatsky era. Right. That would be the only time. And not only
that, but Mars is in his retrograde, which he only does every 2 years. Mm-hmm. Next year, also, Venus will go in her retrograde.
And that doesn't happen very often either.
So I just Googled it really quick. It said the last time all 3 outer planets, so that's not including Jupiter and Saturn.
All right.
Or the nodes. Mm-hmm. That's just Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. That changed signs within a few months of each other was in 1737, which was called by historians the First Great Awakening.
Great. Fantastic.
Bro. So the last time all 3 outer planets changed signs within a few months of each other was 1737, a year that falls at the height of what historians call the First Great Awakening. Uranus was in opposition to Neptune at the time, so there was a lot of religious rebellions, blah, blah, blah.
The other transit, the Renaissance era, that's why Kober talks about it.
Oh, yes.
1400s.
It also was, blah, blah, blah. A shift in consciousness was a religious one in reaction to a perceived lack of meaning and moral values. Interesting. We see a pattern similar to the transits of 2025 in the years of 1478 to 1479, which was the Renaissance. The plague.
Oh, no.
The plague hit during those years.
No, not the plague. Not the plague.
But interestingly, during that time, it says Pluto was entering Aquarius and Neptune entering Aries, almost an identical situation to 2025. To put all of this even into a larger perspective, everything that is occurring this decade is part of a much larger transformation from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age, blah, blah, blah. This correlates with a profound shift in consciousness as we are at the transition point between these 2 eras. The transition from Pisces to Aquarius is a transition from an age of illusory battles between good and evil and into an age of humanity, when humanity recognizes that every good they have projected onto an image of God, along with every evil they have projected onto a perceived devil, is actually within the human being.
Yep. Nothing like some good as above.
This author goes, some have prophesized this as a golden age. I believe it is overblown. I think it is more an age of sanity.
Right. Basically.
This person wrote, we are not meant for oblivion nor rapture. We are meant to ground into the sober realism of our inherent humanity. Yeah. Every bit of work we do on ourselves is a gift back to the collective. When good and evil, light and shadows are reincorporated into the human soul, civilization will flourish.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. But yeah, so I think, in terms of the next, week, well, we have Sagittarius season starting in 2 days.
Thank God.
Always a good time.
Yeah, I like Sagittarius season.
Me too. And then Mercury will go retrograde.
What's it
at 22 degrees Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. I thought it'd be in Capricorn by now.
And that's going to be right on top of Trump's moon. So and then on December 1st we have a new moon in Sagittarius. So it's kind of, there's a lot of Sagittarian themes. over the next month. So I was just going to read this and then we can talk about the gene keys. But this is the degree for where Mercury's going retrograde at. 22 degrees Sag. The underworld is upon us all at once. Suddenly we find ourselves under a barrage of shadow influences and energies. Now we can enact and return to and feel entirely what we would otherwise miss. We are given this chance to connect with the darkness and undergo a counter initiation.
Okay.
It has great possibilities embedded into it, but to get there requires a long, hard series of struggles with our shadows. It takes courage, resiliency, and willingness to enter these frequencies yet again in order to find where they lead. The best of it is that we have an edge, a subconscious mind that gets what's happening and knows what it's all about. If we can stay in tune with this subtle layer, then the whole journey becomes more fascinating and compelling rather than dreadful and destructive. The worst of it is that this undertow has a bite, an addictive tug that is very hard to refuse. Before we even realize it, we have dropped our vibrational level several notches and become susceptible to every kind of negativity and weakness. It seems like we never learn. We just do it all over again the next time. Our dark suspicions in this direction will ultimately prove to be a self-cursing that is no longer necessary and not accurate or useful in any way. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, that is
because so many people are in like this deep suspicious like paranoia constantly. Of, like,
all the time.
All the time. For we can come to the center of this maze where we will see that the old karmic pattern has the kind of snap to it, but we are not our karma. We are the ones underneath of it who can overthrow every ounce of it if we honor every part of what we go through and stay within ourselves without flinching.
Sounds easy enough.
Fun.